Hi, I'm Isai Morales.
I'm Sam McLaughlin.
I'm Sergio Gamboa.
I'm Josh Anopoulos.
And I'm Connor O'Neill.
And we're part of
EPICS. Our EPICS service project was to work with Mid-America Service Dog Foundation, who trains and gives dogs to people who need them. We worked with an elderly man named Jim, who had severe arthritis, so he couldn't move his hands very well. So all he could do was just this.
Okay, so at the beginning of the year, we started out in 2 separate groups, and then later worked our way into one group. For one of our groups, mine, Sergio's, and Josh's, we had an idea of making like a straw dispenser like they have at restaurants. So the first day we started to make that, but we couldn't really figure out how to make it work, so we had to scrap it. It was just too complicated and just wouldn't work out. So our next idea was this. We call it Blackout, and what would work is...
Let me, I'll show you.
So we'd have it velcroed on here and put it on his belt. So when
Attach.
we
A
attach it,
simple shake. She decides will.
and it would fall on the
It's a
floor.
treat.
But so, when we talked to Jim, he said that he didn't want it to fall on the floor, and so we had to scrap that idea and just try something else.
All right, so Isai and I, we were in a group, and this was our little project. And here was this water wheel right here. And what would happen was the treats would go into this area right here, and we would spin the wheel, so a few treats would come out and into this lip, and they would probably fall on the floor. We took these two projects to the service area, and when we got there, Jim wasn't there, and we asked around what happened to him, and his hip broke.
Alright, so Jim, who broke his hip, unfortunately was a huge problem for us because we weren't able to talk to him or find out what we wanted to do with these projects or how he would like these projects to come out. So after we went to the service meeting and we asked people around and we asked like, what do you think of this idea? What do you think Jim would like? Do you think Jim would like this? And we came up with this idea, which is we combined the 2 groups and we got the wheel idea from them and we got these 2 lips which would like funnel down into the wheel so it can come down, and this is the point where we came together.
Right here.
We came together and became 2 groups. So we decided to make a bigger scale model of what this was into PVC pipe. So we got PVC pipe and we were thinking of making exactly the same thing but in this. So we were going to put the top part on the top, have all the lips, all the funnels inside of it, so then it can be exactly the same. So then we went to the service dog meeting and we showed this to Jim, and we wanted to make it big so he wouldn't have to keep refilling it. And that's when we found out that Jim didn't want it to become big and he didn't want it to fall on the floor. And we found out all these things that we found out that he didn't like any of this. And because we only talked to him once, so we didn't know what we were getting into and we didn't know what we were making. We were just kind of going in blindsided, making whatever we needed to make. So then we came up and he told us that he didn't like the idea at all. So we had to scrap the entire idea and start.
And we realized that we had to communicate more. So we put ourselves in Jim's shoes. He didn't want something that was large scale, something to refill. He wanted something smaller, something more portable. And so he actually suggested this Pez idea for his dog treats. And we also noticed that he used pepperoni treats, which were long sticks that he gives his dog to. So we had to incorporate this.
So the fact that Jim used long sticks for his dog treats opened up new ideas to us. So we thought of using a chalk holder, which is sort of like a stick, like it would be holding like a stick, and it would dispense a dog treat for his dog. But that wouldn't really work for him. So we thought about using a straw from Panera, and we used a paper clip, and it would push down the treat like layer by layer, so it would give the dog treat like just one piece at a time. But that also didn't work because it was too hard. Experimenting with a new program called Tinkercad, and we were going to use our school's new 3D printer. And so I went on the computer. It only took about 10 minutes to make, and we made this, which is almost our final prototype. And we made a funnel on top so it would be easier for Jim to put in. And essentially what we were trying to do is just let it slide in, and he would hold it, because his hands are, he doesn't have complete mobility of his hands. So it would go in and he'd just hold it and he'd give it to his dog and just pull it up so the dog would just bite down and eat it. but it took us a lot of tries because the diameter was always either too small or too big. So we had to take the measurements of each like pepperoni because there's different sizes. So this is a jumbo pepperoni, and we had to take the diameter of this, and then we had to type it in the computer and make the same diameter of the pepperoni, same diameter of the, or slightly bigger so it'd slide in easier, the same diameter of the 3D model. And this is our finished product. In order to design a project well, you have to put yourself in someone's shoes to do a good job.
I learned that working in a group requires you to be like very open-minded and accepting other people's ideas.
I learned that persistence pays because a lot of your first ideas aren't going to work, and you have to keep going back to the drawing board in order to get that working idea.
I learned that if you're all burnt out of ideas, just take some time off and you'll be good.
I learned that creativity is key. There's never a wrong answer. It's just working hard and finally getting the final project.